Hey, what is a tune-up?
What is a tune-up? Up in Chicago, that's where you have a guy who's giving you a hard time, and you and the boys go out and you tune him up a little bit. That's a tune-up.
No, really.
Woo, you can make everything work better with a good tune-up.
So I had a customer call and ask if we can do a tune-up on his car.
Only one call?
But the thing is that's kind of an outdated term, because that was to tune like the carburetor and tune, like in the older cars, you still have to do a tune-up. But in the newer cars, they're fuel injected for one. But what else, Jerry? Teach me something.
Oh my God, a tune-up. A tune-up. A tune-up has gone away ever since, we can technically say that the tune-ups went away as soon as they got away from the ignition points and condensers. Okay, and we're like, what is that?
I don't know.
I know. So I'm going to be, okay, pop up. Here's a pop-up on the screen. I'm going to show you a couple pictures of points and condensers.
But what do they do?
So in the old days, we had a conventional ignition system, and the distributor had a cam in it, and the points and the contact points would open and close, and when that spark connected, it would send a surge of electricity into the ignition coil, and the ignition coil would send electricity through the distributor cap and the rotor to each of the spark plugs. So there's a cam in the distributor for each cylinder, and it sent electricity to the plug as it neared the compression level for the power stroke. You want to know how to build a watch, or you want to know what time it is?
I just want to know what a tune-up is.
Okay. So,
what does a tune-up mean today? I'm thinking oil change?
A tune-up, there is no real word for tune-up today, because, look, in the old days, this is an ignition rotor, all right? And the ignition rotor would sit on top of the distributor, and this is the distributor cap. And imagine there's wires going from each of these contacts to each spark plug. And this would literally spin around inside the distributor cap, and electricity would shoot from here all the way to each spark plug. So that's how it worked. And if you look really close here with the camera, see how this electrode is burned? Right? So the idea of this is the cleaner your electricity can travel, the more efficient it is.
But cars don't do that. They don't have this anymore.
Most cars today do not have this. They have what is known as distributorless ignition, and they have coils for each cylinder, and the coil operates directly to the spark plug. Some coils are attached directly to the spark plug. There's no distributor, there's no distributor cap, there's no rotor, there's no spark plug wires.
So ultimately, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I got this. I think that instead of using the term tune-up anymore, what we call it is regular maintenance schedule.
Yes, exactly.
So that would
Good job.
that would be your oil change, your fluid flushes, making sure
check
that
the spark plugs.
we still have to check the spark plugs because
Yep.
cars still have spark plugs. Yep. Check for oil leaks. So it's the regular maintenance checkup that used to be called the tune-up, because we don't have to actually tune the cars anymore.
Everything is computer controlled. There's nothing really to tune. I mean, Webster's very definition is to adjust something to allow it to perform better. This is the tune-up. Well, there's nothing to adjust. The computer takes care of all of the adjustments. It's now a matter of whether or not components are worn. And here's the thing that most people really struggle with understanding. The computers in your vehicle are so smart that if you have, let's say that you have
How smart are they, Jerry?
But if you have a component that's breaking down, let's say, for example, that you have a distributor cap that is not having good connection, right, to the spark plug, the computer will actually cause the ignition coil to produce more electricity and more spark to make up for the part that's defective, right? And so by the time you, as the driver, recognize and realize that you have an issue with the vehicle, it's because more than one component has been compromised. And so this, when you notice that you have a problem with your vehicle and your check engine light comes on, people go, oh my God, it's always expensive. It's because the regular maintenance was not completed, usually, and they waited for something to show itself. And once it does, it only shows itself because you have multiple issues at the same time.
So by the time the check engine light comes on, there's a major
There's a
problem.
problem, right.
So that's why it's really important to get it checked every time you have your oil change, to make sure that there's nothing that's wearing or causing a problem that could eventually cause the check engine light to come on. Is that right?
Absolutely. And here's the thing. In the old days, people go, oh, the old cars were great. Well, they were great except for the maintenance requirements. You got to remember, you have to bring your car in 4 times a year for an oil change. You had to bring it in twice a year for a tune-up. You had to bring it in to
Summer,
change
winter?
Summer, winter.
Spring, fall?
You would have to adjust the carburetor for summertime. You'd have to adjust the carburetor for
And if it wasn't
wintertime.
adjusted right, you had to take it back and
Right.
take it back and take it back.
And then they had to adjust the timing, and we had to remove the thermostat, and we had to put water in and take out the antifreeze.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
It was a lot of work on a car. And then while you're doing it, don't forget, you got to rotate the tires and check the brakes and do all this
We
other
still
junk.
rotate tires and check brakes.
Still do that.
And brake fluid flush as well.
Right, but brakes again are completely different. You would, in the old cars, we would put a set of front brakes on a car every year. Every year. Set of rear brakes every second year. So cars, the amount of maintenance required on today's cars has shrunk considerably.
So bottom line is, subscribe to the channel, click the like button, bring us your cars,
And hopefully
For
you like
their-
our corny jokes.
the regular maintenance tune-up.
Stop it, there's no such thing. Golly.
Bring your cars in for regular maintenance and we'll prevent your check engine light from coming on.
There you go. And you can call us at 972-578-0588 or check us online
At www.theautoshop.com.
All right.
Excellent.
Bye, everybody.
See
See you
you
next
soon.
time.